Hello and welcome to Busted Magic. I'm your host, the True Scotsman, and it's that time of year again, folks. It's ZENDIKAR Rising. Spoilers are finished. Cards are released. It's time to brew. So, I've been brewing, hard at it, making piles and piles of jank. Total nonsense. And this one is Golgari White Nissa. Comes in at $285. Now, of course, if you like these videos, please hit the like and subscribe because it helps the channel massively, and there's lots of other videos, lots of other silly deck techs I've done. Please feel free to check them out. So Golgari White Nissa. This list is, well, this is just like serious value. So I've called it Golgari White because we're splashing white, which I'll get to in a minute. So we're playing Gilded Goose because I think this is the new 1-drop Rampy. Couple of Cheville, Bane of Monsters, because it's a nice 1/3 death touch and it can get you some great value out of Cheville. 2 Eliminates, 2 Heartless Axe, obviously because we're playing Cheville, we've got to be able to kill stuff. Here's one of the new cards. I think this card's massively underrated, but I might be wrong, who knows. It's 1 in a black and it's called Null Priest of Oblivion. It's a Vampire Cleric. Rare. It's got kicker, 3 in a black, which if you don't remember, you pay the kicker on top of the casting cost, and then you get the kicker ability. So it's a 2/1 with Menace lifelink, which I think is pretty good for a 2-drop. And it says, when Null Priest of Oblivion enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think this is just a really solid card. You play it on curve, you've got a 2/1 Menace lifelinker swinging in. You get a late game and you cast it kicked, you bring any other creature you want back from your graveyard. I think this is solid. I think people are maybe overlooking this slightly. I've got 1 Ooze, just for Uros, of course, because, let's be honest, Uro's Uro. This is one of the new mythic lands. It's called Agadeem's Awakening. Now, these lands are, of course, spells when they're in your hand, so they can be hated out. So they do come with a little risk. So it's X, black, 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 sorcery. Return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost of X or less. Now, obviously this is just late game, bring stuff back from the graveyard. Or the other side of this card I can't show you here is basically, it's black mana, but you have to pay 3 for it to come in untapped. All the mythics are the same that way. So this is obviously, if you need the land in your opening hand, you can play it. If you don't, you just keep it and you can play it late game. Now here's one of the new cards. I really quite like this card. I think it's slightly bonkers. It's called Grakmore Skyclave Ravager. 1 black and green for a legendary creature, Hydra Horror. Now it's a 0/0, but it enters the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counters on it. And whenever another creature you control dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, put a +1/+1 counter on Grakmore. Now, we don't have too many creatures that have counters on him, but it can be because we do have Nissa, which puts counters on, and we have Polukranos, which also has counters. Ooze can, of course, get counters. So it can happen in this deck. And when Grakmore dies, create an XX black and green Hydra creature token where X is the number of 1/1 counters on Grakmore. So, even if we don't put any more counters on it, when it dies, it leaves a 3/3 behind. So it's a 3 for a 3/3 that leaves a 3/3. So it's 3 mana for a 6/6, effectively. But it also comes in very nicely. If you play this on curve, it helps protect Nissa, because even if they kill it, it leaves a 3/3 behind. So the white, you might have wondered what we're splashing for, is so we can play Mythos of Nethroi. Because this card is just one of the best removal cards in Standard. And honestly, to splash the white with the new lands, which I'll show you in a minute, was actually very simple. And I'm playing the Triomes anyway, so I just played the Abzan Triome. So we're playing 4 of these, also for removal. Now, on to Nissa. This is the new Nissa, folks. Nissa of Shadowed Boughs. 2 black and a green, legendary planeswalker. 4 loyalty to begin with. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a loyalty counter on Nissa. +1. Untap. Target land you control, you may have it become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste and menace until end of turn. Now, you may, so you can just use it to untap and gain extra mana and not risk your lands if you want, depending on the situation. -5, You may put a creature card with converted mana costs less than or equal to the number of lands you control onto the battlefield from your hand or graveyard with 2+1/+1 counters on it. So obviously what you can do is you can basically ultimate Nissa if you can play a land the same turn you play her. Or obviously play her on turn 4, hold her +1, play a land, then -5 and she still lives. So she could be very powerful, I think. So here are the power, here's what we're looking to hit. Polukranos, because obviously he's a 6/6 for 4, and he plays in this deck beautifully. Questing Beast, because Questing Beast is still Questing Beast, let's be honest. Elder Gargaroth, because this card, I've played with this a little bit in Pioneer, and every time I play this card, it's just slightly bonkers. I honestly can't believe it's not legendary. So Gargaroth, in case you don't remember, is a 6/6 for 5 with Vigilance, Reach and Trample, which is good. But it also has text. Whenever Elder Gargaroth attacks or blocks, choose one. Create a 3/3 green beast. You gain 3 life, you draw a card. It's just a stupid card. We're playing one Vivian Monster's Advocate, just because it's a nice solid 5-drop Planeswalker. And we're also playing a Groot Cursed Huntsman, just to have some power at the top end of the scale. We've also got one Great Henge, once again, just some good late game power. Obviously, it's quite easy to play the Great Henge, playing Polukranos and Questing Beasts and stuff. So here we'll go to the new lands. Branchloft Pathway, which is green one side, white the other, and they come in untapped. Obviously, this helps us get the white for the Mythros, and it's just like playing a forest, basically. We've also got Brightcline Pathway, which is white and black. Once again, just like playing a swamp, but gives us the white option if we don't have the white. We're playing one Castle Lochthwain, a couple of Fabled Pathages, the Triomes and Datha, some forests, one plains and some swamps, just to curve out nicely and enable white mana, which I don't think is that big a deal. So this is Golgari White Nissa, a few of the new cards in it, of course. This is more just, it's just a value town deck, and it's just powerful. And I think it'll smash some games because you'll just keep putting down big, powerful things that are good, pretty much. So, of course, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I'm the True Scotsman, and this is Busted Magic, and this deck is Golgari White Nissa. So, of course, we have a load of other decks that we've done. Please just check out the channel to check them out. And I hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.